Hello my wonderful Misfitians and welcome back to the art studio. So for the past year, I have been redecorating my living room, and there is one particular location where I really want to add cartoon looking portraits of my husband and me and our two dogs, and basically make it a family wall portrait of just these cute little doodles that represent our family. And I've been wanting to do this for 6 months and I just haven't gotten around to it. So for the month of February, I felt like let's tackle this thing and get it done. So for the very first thing that I'm going to be doing is drawing Teddy and Pepper. So you can kind of see these are the two little sketches that I did for them. So I put Teddy in a bandana. She's kind of just the type of dog that she is a tomboy. She's a girl. A lot of people think she's a boy because of how she acts, to be perfectly honest, but whatever. This is the year 2023. She can be whatever gender she wants, to be perfectly honest. She is just a tomboy, and she loves to play rough. So I put her in glasses because she's a little goofy with her tongue out, and a bandana. And then Pepper is more of a little Miss Priss, who's very particular about basically where she's laying and how she's doing stuff and whatever. So I put her in glasses as well, but then I put her in like a little bow tie because she actually enjoys to wear like clothes and wear little cutesy things. Whereas Teddy does not. Teddy could care less. She wants anything that's on her except for a bandana. It's funny because when we used to send her to get groomed, now we basically do it ourselves. We basically wash her and stuff like that and brush out her fur and all of that stuff. But we used to send her to a groomer, and the groomer would always put a little bandana on her when she was finished, and she absolutely loved. First off, she loved the groomer. Unfortunately, our groomer moved away. So we haven't found another groomer, but she moved to Washington, and I was so upset when she moved because Teddy loved her. But anytime she was done, she would like parade around with this little bandana on, and that was like the only thing that Teddy would tolerate as clothing. She hates jackets, she hates sweaters, she hates shoes, she even hates collars. She doesn't really like those, but she does enjoy a bandana. So anyway, today I thought a lot of you have been asking on Instagram how I draw some of my animals and how I draw people. So we'll see if I work on the people. I feel like people, I'm still working through the steps of how I draw things for people, but I feel like dogs are really easy for me to draw. So I'm going to work on teaching you how I go about drawing dogs for this particular video, specifically Teddy. But you could take this general idea and basically just change a couple of elements, such as the ear. You can make them up like triangles if your dog's ears go up, or you can make them really long if you have more of a hound with long ears, such as a basset hound. Changing the ears of the dog will change the characteristic of them after you kind of get this basic sketch. And then the next thing that you would need to change is basically the snout. So for this particular drawing, I'm going to be doing Teddy and Pepper. I'm basically just going to be showing you how to do Teddy because she, in my opinion, is kind of the very basic shape of almost all dogs, especially kind of mixed breeds that are bigger dogs, such as her size. But if their snout is long, you'll put the nose a little bit lower, basically the same place where I put it with Teddy. But if the snout is shorter, you'll just move that nose up higher, closer to the eyes. So keep that in mind as I'm basically showing you how I draw Teddy, and you can actually take this very basic drawing and tweak it to your dog. Yeah, let's go ahead and start with drawing Teddy. So the very first thing you're going to want to have is a pencil of any kind. I'm using a Kimberly's graphite pencil 9H, which means it's a very hard lead, so it's going to leave very light lines, because I'm going to be doing a lot of grid work and stuff like that. And also I have a black magic eraser. These are soft erasers which lift up your lines really nicely. And of course, a standard pencil sharpener. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do actually is to draw a circle. And usually I do mine very, very messy until I get it the size that I want and the roundness that I want. And I am going to be drawing a bit darker than I typically would, so that you can see what I'm doing. All right, the next thing we're going to do is actually split this circle in half, just like so. And then this would be the center of the circle, but I always like to put my eyes a little bit lower for my doggos. Actually, I think I'm going to put it a little higher. So that's the very first thing we're going to do. Very simple, very easy. Next thing I'm going to do is just a line right up here. This would be the top of our dog's head. And to kind of give you an idea, this is where our eyes would go. Now, a lot of people draw eyes just up and down, and I used to do that, but I find it looks a lot cooler if you kind of slant your eyes a little bit. Almost like they're indented a little bit into the head. I know that's gonna sound really weird, but it'll make sense. So there, you can kind of see how they're kind of on the sides of the head. Usually when you're drawing a picture of like a person and their face is flat, you would do more of a circle that's more like this. But since they're on the kind of the side of the head, you would do this with rabbits too. We're gonna kind of angle them just slightly so that it looks like we have this little snout area. Next thing we're gonna do is just kind of draw a straight line that goes from, I would say, this area. So this is the top of the forehead. We're starting to get into the eyebrow area of the dog. Right where those kind of eyebrows would be, we're gonna put two little lines on either side and bring a straight line down and slightly angled. Just like so. Now we're going to draw the ears. So what I'm going to do is just a slight diagonal line up on top. It almost looks like they have little antennas. Then we're going to come out. So out on both sides with a horizontal line. Going to do another diagonal line on either side. And basically what we're creating is they kind of look like Mickey ears right now, but eventually what we're going to do is turn them into side kind of diamonds. Just like so. So I get rid of this guideline. You can kind of see it a little bit better, where they look like little diamonds. And I'm going to put a little fold here. And that's kind of what we're going for. It's kind of a weird kind of shaped diamond because Teddy has kind of triangular shaped ears. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. Now you can kind of start to see the top of the head. And since Teddy has a long snout, I'm going to start putting the nose right at the bottom of our circle. And the way I'm going to draw that is, think of a kind of a triangle, like a dog nose triangle. But then what I'm going to do is round the sides. And then I'm going to color this in just so that I can see that that is the nose, just like so. So the next thing that I'm going to do is pull my line down and then I like to do a little kind of upset face and it will make more sense in a second, but I like to kind of do this little side eye kind of mouth, and then to kind of accent how big Teddy's snout is, I like to do from there basically a little W. And that will make the bottom of the kind of the mouth area, the bottom of the snout. And then I like to just put little sketches there to accent the bottom of the mouth. Now what I'm going to do is take this and combine them together. And usually right around this area there's fur. And there you go. That's kind of the head. And then I like to do little bandanas. So what I'm going to do is right where the nose, the top of the nose is, I'm going to create little lines. And basically just create a side element just like that. So it kind of comes in and then comes out to kind of show that it's wrapping around the neck. And then I'm going to pull that down, and I want my triangle to be kind of in this area, the point of it. So I'm going to pull this down. Just like so. And then we're going to basically just put little lines to accent the shoulders. And Teddy is a goofball, so I'm going to put a little tongue right here, which is basically a U with a line in the center of it. And then I'm going to give Teddy glasses. So I'm going to do a very wide U, pull up, basically create these little boxy shapes. So what I'm doing right now is just creating rounded rectangles that are going to come up and meet this arch. So this is one rounded triangle. Not triangle, rectangle. One rounded rectangle. And this is the second rounded rectangle. And then we're going to outline just around it. Or basically you would see the frame. And at this point you might want to move your eyes, still do that slanted look, but a lot of times I'll try and kind of orient them so they look good in the glasses. I want to reorient this one. And there you go. That's a really simple, easy, little funky teddy. And what I would do next is just add little, since Teddy's hair is kind of, she's not full golden, she kind of has fuzzy elements to her, but she's not straight hair, short like a Labrador. So what I would do next is just kind of add little tweaks of lines wherever I think she should have little elements of fuzzy fur. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of how I draw my dog, specifically a Labrador. Retriever. Teddy is a Labrador / Golden. She's a mixed breed, which is one reason why I like to draw my own dogs, because it's hard to find a drawing that actually looks close to my dogs, because both of my dogs are mixed breeds. And so it's hard to really capture their elements or what makes them uniquely them. So I like to draw them out myself, and hopefully you can do this too with your dogs and just play around with drawing animals. So anyway, lots of love, y'all. I will see you next time, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.